May 4th, 2003, a tornado occurred near the Kansas City assembly plant. The plant's emergency response team volunteered to go into the local community and help with the recovery efforts. This is their story.
Look at all the debris.
Yeah, that's the woodlands.
There goes the woodlands. My husband's over there somewhere.
Well, welcome. Thanks for coming today.
Thanks.
What's your name?
Kirk Briels.
Kirk, I'm Don Fisher. I'm with Emergency Response Solutions International, and we're here at the Ford plant in Kansas City to talk about what we're calling resiliency, and that's, you know, how emergency response teams are prepared or ready to go off the plant property and use the training that they've learned in their emergency response training at Ford to help people in the community when something happens. So I understand you responded to an incident quite a few years back.
Wow.
Tell me what it is. What happened?
Well, we had a tornado in the Liberty area there in Gladstone, and did a lot of damage to a lot of places. You know, a lot of homes there, residential areas. So we volunteered to go and help do the cleanup work. You know, with moving brush and trees, and we had swing sets that were hanging over fences, and we didn't do any structural cleanup, you know, for, I think, liability and fact.
But this area of the country has a lot of tornadoes, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're Tornado Alley, I think.
Yeah, Tornado Alley. So what did you do when you went off the plant property?
Well, we really didn't know what to expect. We didn't know if we were even going to get paid. They said you could take a personal day to help do this, and boy, a lot of people just jumped on board, you know, to help out. Eventually, we did get paid for it.
Okay.
You know, the company stepped up and paid us for it. But I do know that when we were helping these people, you know, we hauled brush and cut up trees and picked up a lot of debris and everything that people were coming out of their houses just, you know, thanking us.
How did you get notified that they needed help? How did it come into the plant that, you know, your services could be used off the plant property?
Well, Pat Hayes, our director of the ERT program, he came in and asked for volunteers, kind of contacted us through the plant itself, and you know, wasn't any question whether we was going to help or not, just how many people we was going to get. Okay,
so the plant here is located in Clay Como, which is right next to Kansas City. And where did you go? Did you go to Clay Como, or was there?
Well, it was actually, I believe, the Gladstone area.
How far away is that?
It just like a mile.
Yeah.
It wasn't very far. Actually, I think one of the guards took a picture from their guard shack of the tornado.
Oh, wow.
You know, it was that close to the plant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just got in our private vehicles and drove over there. Some of us kind of carpooled together, and we had some areas to clean up. There was some tree service, I think Esplanade, or however you say that. They were there, had their big chipper. So a lot of the guys run chainsaws, you know, around the farms and homes and stuff. And I used to cut some firewood myself. So. Yeah.
But you've also had training here at the facility as an emergency response team member. Did you use any of that training?
Well, I'm an electrician by trade, so yeah, we had to talk before we all started about the power lines, you know, down power lines that they're probably off, but let's treat them all like they're live and stay away from them.
Great. So you think this is a pretty valuable thing for Ford emergency response teams to do?
Absolutely. You know, that's the whole idea of the emergency response team, is to help people. And it's not just confined to our plant. Some of the medical training I've had, the first responder training I've used outside the plant.
Like where? What did you do?
Well, I was at a couple times, both at sporting events. One was at a Chiefs game, one was at a Royals game. And a guy was coming up the stairs and tripped and landed face first. He didn't even get time to get his hands up, and nose planted on the concrete there. And he was starting to convulse a little bit, so I was helping him there. I was real close by, and I was holding his head, and there was a lot of blood involved, but I always carry a pair of surgical gloves with me, so which is always a good thing. And of called for help, and I helped calm them down a little bit there. And
Well, thank you for being here today.
well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for helping us out.
Yeah.
Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Don Fisher.
How we doing, Don?
Good. So we're here to talk about this incident that you helped respond to as a emergency response team member from the Kansas City plant here and the Ford plant here. First of all, I noticed you have a UAW t-shirt on. Tell me about that.
Well, it's Red Wednesday, so we wear red on Wednesday for solidarity. And we're I'm a member of the local 249 in Kansas City. We're at the Clay Como plant in Missouri.
How many members are there?
It's about 7,800 or a little over 7,800 members right now.
Is that one of the largest in the Ford system?
Yes.
Yeah, it must be. So are you required to be on the emergency response team?
No, it's completely voluntary. One of the requirements is that you need to be on a free effort job as opposed to being on the line. That way you have a little bit of flexibility on responding to an emergency. But
So what does that mean, free effort? What do you do?
I drive a forklift.
Okay.
So I can make my own brakes and stuff like that. So if an emergency happens, usually I can notify somebody and respond to the emergency if it's in my area.
Yeah, and how long have you been doing that?
About 15 years now.
15 years. Well, that's good. So this whole incident that happened with the tornado was really out of the realm of what you've ever probably done as an emergency response team member. Tell me what happened. What did you do?
Well, there was a tornado that happened in Gladstone, which isn't very far from us. Pat Hayes coordinated or asked us if we would volunteer to go help clean up, and we volunteered to go help move brush and cut trees and move the logs and stuff like that.
So you were there to help the community.
Yes.
And
we went kind of door to door, asked them if they would like help cleaning up their yard and stuff, and told them that we were with the Ford Emergency Response Team, and we were just volunteering our time to help them out. And they were really excited and come out and check on us, see if we needed something to drink. One lady in particular, she said, "I've never been a Ford person, but I'm going to be a Ford person for life from now on."
so she's going to buy Ford vehicles because of that. So you think this was a pretty important thing for the emergency response team here?
Well, I think it was an important thing. The people that we helped, I mean, it was really important to them. It put a great name for Ford out there. So I think it was beneficial, in a lot of different ways.
So do you think other Ford emergency response teams should look to doing this in the future?
Oh yeah, I mean, anytime you can help your community in one way or another, it's a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. So did any of the training that you had from emergency response training, and did it help you when you went off the plant property?
Well, we made sure that, be very aware of the live wires or possibility of live wires that were around, to stay aware of our surroundings. You know, after being a tornado, you don't know what's structurally safe and what's not. So we were much more cautious of that than probably normal.
Well, what about if you were going to do this, if this happened like tomorrow, what would you do today to prepare for it better than you did last time?
It's a good question. Something like that. I mean, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but having a bag or something that had some water and stuff, supplies, something we could just grab and take off and go try to help people.
Maybe some energy bars,
right.
Water, maybe a first aid kit.
Definitely a first aid kit,
just in case. Probably some safety glasses, helmets, flashlights, batteries, things that you normally
that could be essential.
Yeah, right. Well, what would you say to other emergency response teams at Ford Motor Company about being involved with the community?
It's just a win-win situation. I mean, one, you feel good about trying to help the people feel good about you having to, or getting to, try to help them out. And then, it gives Ford a good name to be a part of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it
welcome.
and look forward to seeing you in the future. We're here with Will Holland. I'm Don Fisher. Thanks for coming, Will.
Thank you.
Will is a former member of the Kansas City plant here, and he responded to the same call that we've been talking about, the tornado that happened back in May 4th of 2003. That's some time ago, I know, but
Yes, it was.
yeah. But just tell us a little bit about what happened. What did you do?
Well, really, at that time I was part of the ERT team, and they came up, Pat Hayes and the group came up and said that the city was looking for volunteers to go out and help with cleanup because of the tornado being so close, being right here in our own backyard. So a bunch of us from the emergency response team volunteered and said, yeah, we would be more than happy to. So we went out and we worked with the local municipalities and set up, they had a lot of the shredders set up, tons of trucks with chainsaws, and basically we just went around house to house and how can we help?
Okay.
You know, be it clean up the street, clean up the front yard, go clean up the backyard where the trees had been knocked over.
Some of the other people we've talked to have said that it had a real impact on the ability for them to feel like they were a really important part of the community. Did you feel like that yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, I think it's really great when a team of people can go out and prove themselves to be useful, you know,
right.
to help the community and just to do something good for somebody.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, you know, you didn't have to. It was, hey, we'd like you to. Would you be willing to? And absolutely, you know, it's.
Have you heard anybody, you know, say that it left a real positive impact on the?
Well, I think everybody that went and helped clean up, that they walked away with a sense of accomplishment, with
Yeah.
a sense of, hey, I did something good, you know. It's similar to our random act of kindness, you know. Just go out and do something good for somebody.
Well, that's good.
And it made everyone, you know, hold their head up a little bit higher, if you will.
Right. Well, Will, thanks for sharing your experience with
Well, I
us.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate you doing it.
Thank you.
Hi, Pat.
Hey, Don, how you doing?
Good to see you. Don Fisher from Emergency Response Solutions International. I'm here with Pat Hayes. He is the Emergency Response Coordinator for the UAW here at the plant in Kansas City, which is actually located in Clay, Como. Tell me a little bit about your position with the UAW.
Well, I'm a rep with UAW Local 249. I've been helping with training and coordinating our plant's emergency response team for about 22 years now. We've got 50 ERTs at Kansas City. They're primarily skilled tradespeople who work throughout the plant, and they respond to incipient level fires, medical emergencies. We do confined space and high angle rescue, and we also respond to hazmat spills and releases.
Right. So Emergency Response Solutions has been working with your team for as long as I can remember. I've been around for 25 years and we've been providing training here. But today we're here to talk about something a little bit different. We're here to talk about your response to help the community out in Gladstone from the tornado that happened on May 4th, 2003, where your emergency response team went out and helped the community. And that's what we're trying to do, is to create this community resilience. And what that means is it means that a community is able to sustain themselves with the resources within that community, and how your emergency response team went out and was part of that. So in your past, can you think of any other incidents other than this one where there's been a tornado here in the Kansas, Missouri area?
Well, the UAW and Local 249 have always responded to these kinds of emergencies. In addition to the 2003 tornado, a devastating tornado hit Greensburg, Kansas a number of years ago, and our members raised $8,000 to help aid the community. Another example was the devastating Joplin tornado, that one in Missouri, and our members raised thousands of dollars to aid the victims of that. We even have a number of our members have transferred from plants in New Jersey, and when the Sandy Hook hurricane happened, our members loaded up trailers and trucks and drove them with supplies
Okay.
to New Jersey to help with the reconstruction.
Now, didn't they get involved somehow with 9/11 as well?
We have been very involved. The Ford Motor Company Edison plant sent 15 Rangers to the fire department, or to the Port Authority of New York following the 9/11 attacks to help with the recovery effort there.
Yeah, and it's not unusual for Ford and UAW members to assist people during an emergency. Like in Buffalo, 2 years ago, they had that snowstorm. Do you remember that?
Yep, that's a great example of how our emergency response teams respond. Right around the Buffalo plant, they received just a tremendous blizzard. People were unable to leave work, so they had to shelter in the plant. And the freeway that runs right next to the plant, I remember in particular one woman who was on her way to receive chemotherapy was trapped in her vehicle. Our emergency response team members went out to the freeway, rescued her from her vehicle, brought her into the plant, sheltered her there for 24 hours, provided her with food,
Right.
Water, place to stay, and then helped get her to the clinic for her chemotherapy treatment the following day.
I remember reading the letter that she sent to the plant that said that she would always be be part of the Ford family for the rest of her life, and that she'd always purchase Ford products. Do you think that emergency response teams doing this helps to, present that image to the public?
I really do, and I think it's very important both for Ford Motor Company and for the United Auto Workers. Our members are a part of their communities, and they want to help out in these types of situations. And a lot of them are volunteer firefighters, they're paramedics in the communities where they live. Some of them even hold elective offices, they're on school boards, PTAs, Little League teams. So when these kinds of natural disasters strike, they want to be involved and they want to use the skills that they've developed as ERTs to help their fellow citizens.
Yeah, Pat, what about some lessons learned with the ERT going off plant property? Are there any concerns, special concerns that maybe in the future you would maybe do things a little bit different?
You always try to learn from every experience that you go through. And of course, after the devastating Gladstone tornado, our ERTs went over there to help clear brush so that emergency vehicles could access the scene. And one of the things that we learned based on that was that we needed to do a more thorough job safety analysis before they went over. And in particular, make sure that we were providing them with the right personal protective equipment, safety glasses, gloves, that kind of thing.
Helmets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because of course, we're equipped and trained for the type of emergency response work we do in the plant, but it's a little bit different when we step outside the plant. And so we learned that we need to think that through a little more carefully for future events. Another thing, we train intensively for the type of response work that we do in the plant, but the type of response work we do outside of the plant is a little bit different. And so one of the things that we're looking at is making sure that there's training provided to prepare our ERTs for these different types of situations they might encounter.
Great. Well, that's one of the reasons we're working on this video right now, is to improve people's awareness in that Ford ERTs or emergency response teams or team members do work out in the community, and that they do need to take the same precautions outside the plant as they would inside the plant.
Absolutely.
So just in closing comments here, what would you like to say about the whole idea of resiliency in communities and ERTs helping to provide that?
Well, the Gladstone tornado is a great example of that, because it wasn't just one isolated tornado. It was a series of tornadoes that covered a big part of the metro area. So the one that hit Gladstone was just one of many. So emergency responders, fire departments, police were really tied down in that situation, responding to all the different areas of the city. So having our ERTs be able to help meant that our community was able to respond quickly, not have to rely on and wait for outside assistance, but get right to the work at hand and accomplish that.
Well, good. Well, thanks, Pat. Appreciate you doing this.
Good talking to you,
Yeah,
Don.
all right.